All right, I'm going to call us back into order. All right, for those of us that are newly joining us, this is my name is Kevin Wagner. I'm the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for today's hearings. This is the Other Matters section of the Special Magistrate agenda. Let me explain how the process is going to work. The city will call the cases in the order in which they appear on the agenda. If you've appeared at today's hearing, which I believe both parties have, your case will be called before those cases where no one has appeared. Once your case is called, please come down to the podium on my right-hand side, which is right there. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first. You'll have an opportunity to review any evidence or ask any questions of the city or its witnesses, after which you'll have an opportunity to testify, present me with your evidence, and whatever it is that you are requesting the magistrate to do. Once I have the testimony and evidence, I will make a ruling. A copy of that order will be entered probably at today's hearing, but possibly within the next few days. This is not a formal courtroom, but the formal rules of evidence do not apply here. However, all testimony is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you are going to testify today, or you think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, would you please rise and raise your right hand? Anyone that's going to testify in the Others Matters agenda? You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida? Yes. All right, please be seated.
Great. Numbers 3, 4, and 5, other matters for 4210 North Terrace Drive, CE 18090084, CE 17050446, and CE 17060363.
4210 Terrace.
This is Fats Pie and Son, Inc. Okay.
Good morning.
Please proceed.
Okay, 3 cases, chronological order, oldest first. Case ending in 446, 4210 North Terrace. Date ordered 6/21 of 17, fine started 7/22 of 17, ran for 725 days, total is $72,500, $100 a day. Date of compliance 7/17 of 19, same owner. Case ending in 363, 4210 North Terrace. Date order 7/19 of 17, fine started 8/19 of 17, ran for 845 days. Total $211,250, $250 a day. Date of compliance 12/12 of 19, same owner. Case ending in 084, 4210 North Terrace. Date order 10/24 of 18, fine started 12/26 of 18, ran for 79 days, total $7,900, $100 a day. Date of compliance 3/15 of 19, same owner. Generally speaking, the city would ask for 50%, but given the size of it, we're asking for 30%. Owned the property since 2004 and managed to have 23 cases in that time. It's a rental property that the city has been managing for him rather than him taking care of problems caused by his own tenants. Mitigating factor is confusion about what code enforcement was. And the second of the 3 cases was for no rental license, cited in 2017, but rented from 2004 until then with no licensing whatsoever.
Okay, sir, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is John. My name is John Dubeck.
I'm sorry, your name is John
John Dubeck.
Dubeck?
Dubeck, right?
All right, Mr. Dubeck, what are you asking me for, and what should I and why should I grant it to you, sir?
The problem I have encountered with the property, it's tell you the truth that I tried to do the best I could to solve the issue. So every time that I received a note And I had a tenant at that time. The tenant, didn't give it to me, so I wasn't aware of that. When I finally aware of that, this is when the thing became worse. And I took necessary step. I resolved that. I worked with the code violator, and from the beginning that, I didn't understand quietly the process. Then finally I understand that, and we solved all the issue. Everything that, is resolved. So at that time, we...
I know it's resolved because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't resolved. So what are you asking me for, sir?
Yeah, that's the thing we get in there that, I think we've been, I don't think it's just the code violation officer that caused that, but we come to a point that we want to resolve that point. That costs a lot of money. There's the thing that we have an attorney that to represent us for the code violation, which we find out later on we shouldn't do that. We should go ahead and then talk to the code violation officer, and which we did finally. We spent a lot of money on that. We borrowed money from the family, credit card to solve that issue. So, and what now we are in a position that, to money that, is concerned that, we just lost my dad to the COVID-19 and I don't have a job per se now, but I learned my lesson that would never happen again. So I learned the hard way, but I did learn. So, so that's it. All I can do right now that, this is $1,000, not even once, because I don't have income at this present time.
So what are you asking me for, sir?
If you can reduce that lien, that for me, that's, to $1,000 at least.
Well, right now, what's the total now?
All three together, I don't think I've added all three together. We've got 72,500, 211,250, so that's roughly 300,000. Another 7,900, it's around $300,000.
Like 290-ish, right? So there are fines of about almost $300,000 on the property, about $290,000. And so what are you asking me to do, sir?
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But I understand that. But the problem is that,
You have to ask me for something.
This is a catch-22 thing. We have to hire an attorney. The attorney pretending they're doing something, but they don't know anything. And
Well, I can't speak to that, but what are you
Yeah.
asking me to do?
Your Honor, I ask you that, at least to reduce that lien for us. And it's not something we did purposely. This is something happened.
We can get into this because the city is claiming that there were 23 cases on the property, so that's a lot. But before we even get there, I have to know what you're asking me to reduce. What are you asking me to reduce it to? I mean, you have to be somewhat specific. You asked for this hearing, so you're asking me to do something for you. So I need to understand what it is that you're asking me to do.
I cannot ask you that, to reduce it to the level of the court fee, but $1,000 right now, Your Honor, that's all we could do. We just get from a funeral right now, and there's no money in there, and we don't have that, and we cannot afford that, to.
All right, so just
to
so
that
I understand, you're asking me to reduce it from 290,
291,650.
that was close, 291,650 to $1,000. That's what you're asking me to do? Do I understand that correctly, Mr. Dubek? You're asking me to reduce it from 291,000 to 1,000?
Yes, Your Honor, that we actually to reduce that. The reason why I ask you that because there's no way we could pay that money. And first of all, the money coming that's the penalty that, every time we do something, the code violation officer come back and he said that he's not the way supposed to do it. By the time to redo it, to find the money to do that, and, time passed by. So I think I came here 3 times already to solve that issue. When actually that's something and it costs money, and we have somebody that who's really that the attorney's office even give us a contractor to do that, and he tried to do something, and when the code violation officer came for the inspection, he didn't pass. You see, that's this is the issue that we. we asked that, the court that, to see that, that's the best we could do, especially at this time.
Well, I have to be honest with you, sir. I'm not inclined to do that. That's 23 cases?
I'm sorry, what's that?
There were 23 cases on this property?
Yes, sir. They've owned it since 2004, a total of 23 cases. I understand he said tenant owned, but I doubt it was the same tenant since 2004 that caused all this.
Now, they say, I keep having issue with the tenant that, there's an issue of animal on the property, the cockfighting. So, different people, different culture. I found out that afterward, after the inspector came and discovered that there's some kind of cockfighting in there. So when I tried to press on that, and the inspector told me, this is your property, you have to do something, there's nothing you could do. And I cannot, the only thing I have to do is just to evict them. We had a lot of issue that, with tenant that didn't understand that, when we managed that to get them out, and we finally did. But they put a lot of animal in there, people call that this is issue we have.
All right, so let me see. The city has offered to reduce it from $291,650 to $87,495, if I'm doing my math correctly. Is that right?
That's what I've got, sir.
So they've offered to reduce it by 70% to $87,495.
I'm sorry?
The city has offered to reduce the fine from $291,650 by 70% to $87,495.
You're talking about 8,700?
No, I'm talking about $87,495, which is 30%. So they've offered to reduce it by 70%.
This is the only property that I have. That's, I'm retired. That's all I have. That's all I have. That's from my retirement. And 87, that's $1,000. There's no way I can find that. And I cannot go to live on the street. I was waiting until I retired to get my property that, to live in it. That's all I have, Your Honor. So we're not going to find $80,000, especially now. So what I can do. And it's not, we are responsible for that, but in the long run that, this is, somebody caused that.
I'll be honest, I'm a little less sympathetic just because how long this went on and how many times the city had to go out there. But with that said, let's see. $10 would be about 29,000, right?
29,165.
Every time the city came, and I recognized the gentleman that, he's the supervisor on the first one. He came at one time, and he was indicated something we have to do when they put up the grass put up of the area. Every time the city came, we have done what they required us to do. We cooperated, but the fact is that something always happened.
All right, this is what I'm willing to do in this case. I'll reduce it to 5%, which is 15,000, and I'll give you 120 days to pay it. And that's as low as I'm willing to go, considering the number of cases here. I realize that is a difficult, and I suspect that that's not as low as you wanted it to go, but it is considerably less than the 87,000 that the city offered. I think it is fair under the circumstances. I think you let this thing go for 2 years plus, and the city had to come out there 23 times at least.
I understand. You and I understand. I'm not trying to be, difficult, impossible. But that kind of money right now we have a funeral debt we have to pay right now. I'm thinking like that. We cannot find.
I appreciate that, and I don't know what the status on the property is, and I'm not sure how to address that. But I think to reduce it any further, these are broadcast meetings, right? What does that send to everybody else that you can do it for 2+ years and 23 cases, and then have the I'm reducing it to 5%. Of what? So I'm basically striking 95% of the fine that exists on this property. So I'm reducing it down to $15,000. I'll give it 120 days for you to figure out what you want to do with that. But that's what I'm willing to do at this time.
Yeah, I understand that. But if that's in anything you have to have your yes. You have to be an honest person. I understand that when officer came that, on the property, whenever I tell him I'll do something, we try to do the best we can, even with borrow money, we always do that. If I tell you that $15,000 right now, and I'm on the process of retirement right now, so, and basically that, I'm not going to find it. And family members already helping me. So I don't want to tell you, yes, come here, and then I come back, and then I deceive myself. It's not you. You see myself. It is too high for us, Your Honor. We cannot find that money. So to sub that, $15,000, there's no way.
The only thing the only additional thing I'd be willing to do at this time is I would give you additional time.
I'm
In
sorry?
fact, I could give you, what did I give you, 120? 180 is 6 months. You know what, I'll give you, in fact, you know what I'll do? I'll give you, 2, 3, 3. I'll give you 360 days. But I don't know what the circumstances is. I'm not going to get involved in your personal situation, but that's what I'm willing to do in this case. I'm not willing to go any lower than that. I think based
I
on the
understand you. I
circumstances,
understand
I think that's more than
I
fair.
understand. The one thing happened. We are actually the property that we're on bankruptcy right now. We're dealing with a bankruptcy case right now with the property.
I'm not going to get into that. I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, and I can't deal with it, but that's what I'm willing to reduce it for. And I think that in light of the circumstances on the property, that is more than fair, sir.
Ernest, you give us 360 days to pay that.
Yes.
So unless we finance the property, that's the only option we have. So tell you the truth. I have to tell you the truth.
Well, I think it gives you a year to figure out what you want to do with the property and the fine. And I'm not going to go into what other options you have with dealing with the property, but I think that gives you plenty of time to deal with it, and it gives you a big window with a very, very reduced fine. So I think that's as fair as I can be in this circumstance, sir.
Is there any way, Your Honor, there's one more thing. There's you could reduce that to 10,000? At least that, I can go
Going
ahead
lower-
and try
going lower
to
than-
figure out what I can do then.
Going lower than 5% under the circumstances here, it wouldn't be fair to all the other cases that I've dealt with. This is about, honestly, this is actually lower than I typically would go on this
I
case.
understand.
Just because of the size of the.
You do the best you can, Your Honor. I appreciate that. Can we pay that by installment?
Can you pay it by what?
By installment?
I didn't understand that last.
Yeah, we paid a quarter of a percent, we pay 25%, 25%,
Oh,
and
can you pay it
25%.
in installments?
Yes.
As far as I know, as long as you pay it within the time frame I gave you in any way you want to pay it. I think it's probably easier just to pay it all at once and put it aside rather than doing it in installments, but you have in 360 days. Okay? All right.
Try
Thank you
the
for
best
coming in,
you
sir.
can.
Sir, here's your order. The instructions to pay are at the bottom.
Magistrate?
Yep.
Is it 5,000 per for the 3 liens, or is it, how did you do it?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, are they all at least 5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, reduce them each to 5,000. Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
You can ask them about paying a little bit at a time. Okay. Each was, yes. Okay, thank you. The fine will revert back. The fine would revert back if it is not paid. It goes, this one would revert back to 7,900, this one will revert back to 72,000, so it's not paid within the time. All right, number one other matters, 950 29th Street, CE 07090717. can you wait just a minute? Testing, testing.
All right, excellent.
Case ending in 717-950 29th Street. Date ordered 11/2 of '07, fine started 11/26 of '07, ran for 32 days, total $3,200. Daily fine is $100 a day, date of compliance 12/28 of '07, same owner. The only mitigating factor is I didn't know about the lien, but actually he applied for the same lien reduction in 2008 and simply never passed inspection. The city's asking for 50% of the $3,200.
When was the initial case?
2007.
And it ran for 32 days?
Yes, sir. Date of compliance 12/28/07.
Can you tell me your names, please?
My name is Ted M. Martin.
You are Ted Martin, sir?
Yes, sir.
And you are the owner of the property?
Yes, yeah, I know.
And who is that with you?
My name is Dejanay Martin, his son.
You're his son? Okay. So why don't you tell me what you're asking me for and why I should grant it to you, sir?
Well, I wasn't aware of I wasn't aware of they give me a ticket to come to court, to check my property out. But after I spoke to someone that came down here a couple of times,
Sir, can you speak a little closer into the microphone? I don't hear as well as I used to. Thanks.
I came down to the city a couple of times. They tell me I have for the a lease, not the lease, what you call it.
The lease.
I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it because I went back to, when I was aware of it, they sent me a letter. I came down there and asked them what this about. They tell me, oh, which one? The electrical. And I worked in it right then and there. I came right down there and asked.
So, sir, what are you asking me for?
But I'm asking you for, I wasn't aware of it, and when I did aware of it, I worked in it right then and there, came down here, spoke to all the inspectors, And they tell me that you have this, and they're gonna come to the courthouse, and that's it.
Okay, well, there's a fine of $3,200 on the property. And what are you asking me to do, sir?
I'm asking you to reduce it, because I wasn't aware of it. When I get aware of, about the code, then I came and fixed it right then and there.
What are you asking me to reduce it to, sir?
I'm asking to reduce it entirely, entirely.
Do you have the record on how notice was accomplished in this case?
It wasn't something I researched. Nobody had asked about notice. It was sent regular certified mail, posted to property. The certified was returned, unsigned.
Were you living at the property, sir?
Yes, sir.
So what the city is saying is their records show that they sent a letter about the problem, certified mail, and that it was signed by whoever was living at the property and returned. Yes, sir. You want to add something?
Who signed the certified letter? Because for the last couple of years, he's been in and out of the hospital, so someone else probably signed.
This would have been in 2007 when it happened.
And it was returned unsigned. It came back to us.
Okay.
Nobody signed for it. The certified mail came back to us.
But the property itself was
It
posted?
was posted to property, it was posted to City Hall. If I can note that he has in his paperwork said that he complied with the code violation. So he was aware there was a violation. I would hazard a guess he didn't check with the officer to verify it was complied. Or he complied it after the fact and didn't realize a fine had run. But again, he applied for a lien reduction in 2008. So at some point, much earlier than this year, he was aware there was a lien.
What is the city's recommendation in this case?
Given the small amount, it was 50%.
Sir, how did you become aware of the code violation?
After my daughter one of my daughter tell me, do you know you have this? I was trying to do some transfer. After I get out the hospital, I was trying to give them the property, and then they found out that we have a lien in it.
When was that?
A year ago.
Who applied for the lien reduction back in 2008?
No, not to apply for a reduction. My daughter tell me that I have a lien in the house from the city.
Somebody applied in 2008 for a lien reduction. Was that you, sir?
It probably was my sister because he wasn't, like I was saying, he wasn't aware. I wasn't aware either because I just came into the picture about a week ago.
Was the sister living at the house?
No, it's
No,
my
she-
stepsister, and she stays somewhere else, and she's supposed to somehow got power of attorney over a lot of things, and so she was doing things he didn't know about. So when he found aware of the things, he started fixing it, and that's why we're here now to get things back on that.
All right.
We want to sell the house, take care of.
The fine is $3,200. The city has offered to reduce it to 15%, which by my math is what, about $450?
From 3,200 would be 1,600.
Oh, did you say 50% or 15%?
I had said 50.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So, all right. So the city has offered to reduce it to $1,600. I'll reduce it to 10%, which is $320, payable within 60 days. The city's got to cover at least some of the costs, okay?
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
You have a blessed day.
You too. are we ready on case 2?
I'm gonna use this.
Okay. There's another one too that should work.
That's the last one, right, case 2?
Give me just a moment.